witness, unmanifested, a witness of Prakriti. So through Prakriti, that pure consciousness witness this manifestation of reality, what we call the physicality that we live in. So throughout the ages, there was some religion. They had an organized movement and they wanted to create one world powerful religion, which came to be known as monotheism, and characterized by divine masculine energy, which is completely the opposite in so many ways of the divine feminine energy. This energy embodies the qualities of conquest, dominion, possessing, taking over. It's a necessary and destroying. It's a necessary energy. But what happened throughout so many ages with the conquistador and this whole movement of religious, patriarchal religion taking over and burning to the stick so many high priestess, many thousands and thousands, and they have record of that in the during the Dark Ages, during the Middle Ages, how they burned those priestess. They were considered high priestess because they had siddhis. Siddhis is spiritual power. They were worshiping the Divine Mother, the grand cosmic powerful energy that we all have inside of us. It's called Kundalini. Kundalini is located in the subtle body, and it's at the root, hidden in the Muladhara at the base, and it is coiled like a snake. That's why they call it the serpent goddess sometimes. And Shakti, it means actually a sacred force. It means also an empowerment to be able to. This is the way of your own divinity, beloved. Did you know that? It is the way for that ultimate marriage of Shiva Shakti to manifest from within into your own subtle body. Within your own subtle body, you have your etheric body, your causal body, and I could go to the anatomy of the subtle body, but maybe if we have time later. But what's most important is within all the 114 chakra we have, the 7 main chakra, this is when Kundalini Shakti is awakened, she moves up and she eventually goes, she makes that journey from untruth to truth, darkness to light, ignorance, enlightenment, to reach finally Shiva, and that true marriage take place in the Swasara. I can tell you, when you hit there, you are pretty intoxicated. It happened to this one many times. You can't function at all. It's a state of samadhi that is very profound. Eventually, your energy comes back down, but you have attained, awakened, we could say, or self-realize, you being enlightenment take place when that marriage happened. But to go back to ancient time a little bit, why is so important on our planet? I don't need to tell you how many wars that we have been having. Huh? How many? Still today. Can you imagine? Even today, the masculine energy is too strong on our planet. The patriarchal. What is the big issue that has become with divine masculine energy is because it's out of balance. There's very, very little divine feminine energy on our planet. It needs to be revived in a phenomenal way, which is the movement. That's why I said this is not a religion, this is not a cult, and this is certainly not a feminist movement, because it has nothing to do with the gender. Everyone, every human being has a divine masculine energy and a divine feminine energy. And you will see some men are more in touch. Their divine feminine energy is more awakened. And for some women, sometimes it's the opposite, is their divine masculine energy is too awakened. They're out of balance. So most people on our planet, when we speak about the planet, lack divine feminine energy, it has to be a lot to do with the people, because the people are not awakened. If they were really awakened and in their true nature, their true divine presence, that balance would be completely established. They would be established in their divine presence. Not one would take over the other one. And so, because it's important to have all those qualities. But it's time now to bring back, don't you agree, to bring back that balance on our planet? It's time for the glory of the Divine Mother on our planet, for the divine feminine energy, because war is archaic. It doesn't serve the higher purpose of human beings. And it will never serve. It's barbaric and it's violence. And that's the thing with patriarchal society and patriarchal and divine feminine, divine masculine energy, is it's a power over. Because a power over means exactly that. When you have a power over, is that one has been subjected, one has been oppressed, and one has been under the influence of a power that is oppressive. And the divine feminine energy is not like that. It's the opposite. The divine feminine energy will empower the beauty, bring beauty on the planet, bring the beauty in another being or an animal or on Mother Earth, and will nurture, will empower. You see, it's a different power, but it's not a power over. It is, I always say, divine feminine energy, our power is divine love. When you agree. Through divine love, I have seen miracles happening on the planet. It has been phenomenal. Through divine love, you can bring about enlightenment in another being and to see how everything flourish. Let me give you an example, because it's very important. This is not misunderstood. You can look at Shiva and Shakti or Purusha and Prakriti the same way you look at a tree. A tree, its roots, we could say, and is strong, is divine masculine energy. It needs that grabbing. It's like a power over to hold on. And the divine feminine energy is the blossoming of the tree. It's the fruit that comes out. Isn't that beautiful? And that's what is needed. We need to see everybody to blossom with divine love and to be a mother to everyone, regardless if you're male or if you're female. And it comes from a space of divine love, because within divine love, there's all those beautiful quality of the Divine Mother, the divine feminine energy. Not only you have nurturing, caring, nourishing, benevolence, creativity, tenderness. This is how everything flourishes. This is how Shakti works, to bring that beauty. All the artistic beauty you see in the world comes from Shakti. It will never come from the masculine energy. It always comes from the divine Mother. Now, that's why we say when there's a blossoming of a lotus, it exudes a fragrance. That's divine feminine energy. That's divine love. But they need each other to manifest this cosmos. So to bring about the global awakening of the divine feminine energy is not only to celebrate it, but is to awaken it from within and to bring about this transformation, complete transformation in that complete blossoming of your own true divine presence. So throughout the ages, it's very unfortunate, they have burned, and I will tell you, I know I have had past life. I will share with you, I had a very powerful experience with that. I know that I lived through this era and I've been burned to the stick. I know that because what I experienced was so powerful, and many, many thousands of women have been burned. It was a long era. It was for thousands of years throughout the Middle Ages. They were into Tantra, because when you worship the divine feminine energy, there is Tantra in it. And we will talk a little bit more about Tantra. We'll get there slowly. Tantra is a branch of yoga, and it's working with the life force energy. It's working with the element, and is to manifest something that is powerful, not only within ourselves, but this is how the yogi created the goddesses. And when we talk about goddess worshiping, all those priestess, those high priestess, who were endowed with tantric power, what we call siddhis, spiritual power. You could say there was a certain amount of occult involved in it, because they were very evolved, and they could heal, they could do telepathy. And it was a big threat for patriarchal society, because they saw how powerful that those high priestesses were. And not only was a threat, they did pretty good. They abolished, they burned all the temple of all the goddesses. Did you know, beloved, that the Divine Mother was worshipped almost all around the world, throughout even Arabia, South America, Asia, India, almost anywhere in the world. I think even here in America, in Europe. There's few little drops in there in Europe, I would say, like in certain churches where they worship the Virgin Mary and Mary Magdalene. I was very pleased to see that when I was in Europe, when I was in France last time, but they're very rare. Today, in most of the world, you don't see temple of goddesses, of Divine Mother. Almost none, maybe a few there and there, like I said, in Europe, maybe a few there and there in South America, because they love the Virgin Mary. But in India, a good part of it were preserved, all the temple of the goddesses, because those invasion, when they came to burn all the temple, and it, like I said, it didn't happen overnight. It was like for hundreds of years. They really went aggressively to even burn books and everything about everything. Can you imagine thousands and thousands of years of peace and love and living in harmony and blossoming, and women with power? And by the way, this is another important aspect that I need to share. Women in particular always have been more, generally speaking, more in touch with the divine feminine energy. And that's probably why there's such a myth about associating divine feminine energy with the gender feminine, because women are pretty great at connecting with that energy. At least in those days, less today, because women are becoming so much more like men today in our era. And consciously, they're so heavily influenced by divine masculine energy. But in those days, and I always feel one of the reasons is probably because women we give birth. And there is that sense of creativity within our own self that it's, in a way, it's in our gender. So we're a little bit more sensitive. That's a great asset for us female. But there are men who are very sensitive because those are the quality that you need, beloved, to render yourself like a little child in a state of wonderment. A little child don't ask questions that comes from the mind and personality. It comes from a genuine love of wanting to know and experience. Don't you agree? So when you come as a little child, you're vulnerable, right? You're in a state of wonderment. You want to know everything. And you're excited. You're open. You're receptive. And you naturally, you look at a flower, it's like you have never seen a flower. You look at it like this is how you need to connect with the divine feminine energy. And people who really have a hard time with the Kundalini ascension is because the mind always gets in the way. The mind is very strong, and the doubts. And so when you come with a deep sense of humbleness, I don't know, humble, so humble that my little secret I would say to you is, what has worked for this one is, I always offer myself. I would say, whatever there is to demolish, demolish it. I don't want anything of it. Only you exists. I did that decades ago, and I can tell you it really works. You bow down, and there's nothing of you when you bow down. You just empty yourself of yourself. That personality, ego identification, what we call in the yogic tradition, anankara, will always try to pop up, to get into the way. That's why Jesus Christ said that, Only little children will come to kingdom. Don't hinder them from entering the kingdom. Why do you think he talked about little children? He didn't mean that the adults were excluded. He was talking exactly in parable that the one who are like little children will experience their divine presence. Because a little child comes with those beautiful quality of I don't know, a state of wonderment, a state of humbleness, a state of receptivity, of openness, embrace. I'm here. I want to take it on. And that's the state that Jesus Christ was talking about. A child always offers itself. They render themselves in such a state of sensitivity. They're always vulnerable. And that's what's so beautiful about a child. They're very vulnerable. Vulnerability and sensitivity will serve you very high. And like as I say, my secret is you bow down, you offer yourself. Offering yourself is the most beautiful thing, with humbleness and great reverence, with deep reverence, and to put aside everything you know. I don't know anything when I bow down in front of the Divine Mother. Even today, I'm still a child. Well, actually, now she wants me to be the mother. Were you going to find that out in my next satsang, which is coming up? We were filming yesterday, teaching, and I just came back from the consecration with Sadhguru not long ago for Devi, and I share my mystical experiences. It turned out to be a very long, powerful satsang, even though I was very sick yesterday. By the grace of the Divine Mother, I don't know how I did it, but she made it happen. And I was working yesterday on a Sunday, and it went like, it was flying, it was wild. But I share many, many mystical experiences, and one in particular of a past life vision. Genetic memory washed out, from the process we did giving a third eye to Bhairavi Devi in the consecration. So stay tuned, all of you around the world, because you will love that, and hopefully it will come out in a few weeks. And it's just came out really powerful, really beautiful. So I talk about that. You'll understand when you watch that, because it's related being a mother, and because the vision was so incredible. Anyhow, I'm sorry I brought it up, because now you will be very curious. Just stay tuned, it's coming up soon. So the Divine Mother, at one point, I think it was around 1700, when Tantra was, yogic tradition has been around for thousands and thousands of years, but it evolved. You know, Shiva is known, the great yogi, Adi is known to have brought the science of self-realization, and for thousands of years, and it evolved, it spread, he imparted it to the Saptarishi, to the 7 stages, but then one of the latest, I think, branch, because there's 7 branches in the yogic tradition, is Tantra. And Tantra needs to be demystified too, because here in America in particular is very much associated with sex. And it could not be further from the truth. I can tell you that. In a certain sect of Tantra, the element of sexuality is being used under the supervision of a guru, a Satguru. It's rare, but it is used. And you don't see it that much today. But the two genuine Tantra is really working with shakti, with the divine feminine energy, with the goddesses. And that's what the yogi did. They actually created goddesses out of thin air. We have that power. Do you know that? You have the inner power to awaken your own divinity. You could call it God or goddesses. You all have it. That's what the patriarchal society didn't want us to know. Because it was all about power. I don't need to tell you that. I mean, most of you know that. If you look at a lot of those religion, how corrupted they are. Because spirituality is not about religion. It's all inclusive. It's not exclusive. And so Tantra is an incredible power. It's about awakening your own inner power, awaken that goddess within. And so in the 1700, there was a movement called Shaktism started happening. Tantra came out of that. A little before, there is even scripture on Devi. Did you know that there is a Bhagavad Gita of Devi Purana that talks about the whole movement of not to lose this incredible knowledge of Kundalini ascension. And then the Mahavidya, the 10 avatar goddesses came about. So that dates from quite a long time. And I bet you most of you don't know about that. How many of you know about the Mahavidya? There are 10 of them. Bhairavi Devi is one of them. So Mahavidya means great cosmic wisdom knowledge. And Tara is one of them. Kali is one of them. There are really powerful forces of not only of Kundalini Shakti, but to bring about enlightenment and liberation. And Bhairavi is considered to be a very fierce force among the Mahavidya. And there is Kamala, is another one. And there is, I don't know all the name, they have intricate name. One of them I love also very much is Tripura Sundari. She's the most beautiful one. There's Kamala is about, I think, about arts, artistic, everything. And Tripura Sundari is all about beauty, knowledge. Bharvi, Mahabharvi is about complete, please phone on the side. Everyone, thank you. And some of you also online, if please leave your phone, and it's good you have your earplug also. It's a great way to listen. Just stay in the present moment. Thank you. Normally when I start satsang, I ask you to leave your phone out and leave your mind out. And I normally start with a breath, a conscious breath to ground you to the present moment. Let's do that now. I should have done that from the very beginning because it's distracting. So close your eyes, sit straight with your spine, and just bring yourself back to this moment right now for all of you. And check in, where is your breath? Are you here right now in this moment? Where's your breath? And take another one. Just bring your awareness, caressing your spine. And one last one. This past moment is gone, and the next one hasn't arrived yet. There's only right now. And we breathe, when we do that, we breathe as one heart, one soul, and one being, and one God, really. And that's all what there is. So the Mahavidya, we were talking about the 10 avatar. And so the yogi and the yogini and the mystic and the Maharishi, throughout the ages, when we talk about the Divine Mother, they talk about this force of the Mahavidya, the avatar, the 10, because they represent forces of the universe, of creation. So when we talk about the Divine Mother, this is like their sphere, their cipher, their symbol. Kali is one of them. That Kali is a fierce one too. Kali and Bharvi Devi are really fierce. Fierce, like they really will come and just cut your head off. Or Chinnamasta, that's another one I didn't mention. Chinnamasta is another one of the 10 Mahavidya. She is known to decapitate the head. When we talk in terms of those Mahavidya, Kali, Chinnamasta, Bharvi Devi, the fierce one, the force of destruction, in the sense they come and like they cut your head off, meaning they do this out of benevolence and out of compassion. One quality I did mention, very important about the divine feminine energy, is the most important one, is incredible compassion. Compassion to get rid of that ego that doesn't serve you. All that you have fabricated that is not you. All the conditioning, all the accumulation that you have taken unconditionally, all the karma you brought from past life, those samskara, those karmic impression, and those tendency the vasana that you're not even aware of, that is getting in the way of manifesting what you want for your life. So in that time, she's fierce. She will come and she will kick this thing out of you. It's not, sometimes I can tell you, I have gone through that process. It can be painful, and it can be, it's very fierce, it's very powerful. That's what I talk when I talk about the fast forward movement in Kundalini ascension. And if you haven't see that, this is on the channel, on the playlist on Kundalini Awakening. I talk about the different movement of Kundalini Ascension. And that one is when you get your head cut off. And you burn hundreds of thousands of lifetime in one lifetime. It's intense. It's like, it's so intense because you just like, it's like smashing, like burning you in fire. It's like purification at the ultimate. Very few people can handle that. I can tell you that. And so when you work with those forces, those goddesses, you have to be prepared for that. You need to prepare the body temple for that. You need to have the physicality to sustain the high voltage of Shakti. You need the right key, the right code, the right sadhana to do that. And it's very important when we talk about Tantra, because all of those goddesses is associated with tantric power, and is associated with our own awakening, our own inner power. Most people don't know about this inner power that you have within yourself. How can you awaken that if you're not even aware? And it's phenomenal. There is no word to describe the treasure that is hidden within your own being. I'm not talking just seedy spiritual power. I'm talking about to be intoxicated and dripping in bliss, in your own nature, not because you eat coconut bliss. You know, it's an ice cream made out of coconut. No, there's no object subject here. It's that you drip in ecstasy from your own intoxication, because that's who we are. This is our own divine, nature. I think we lost the microphone. Does it come out? Yeah. So today in India, even today, there's still yogi who are creating form. And I didn't mention earlier, a lot of those yogi have passed on throughout the ages. So when they leave their body, the goddesses are floating in the ether. And so what happened, I can tell you from my own experience, when your Anahata is fully awakened, you will start seeing some, don't be surprised, and I have received email on that. Some of my follower and disciple have asked me those questions. There's a video on that also on our channel, on the Anahata. I remember when my Anahata opened up, oh my God, I have had so many visions, so many visitations, because you start seeing those forms, and those goddesses can come to you. You can really experience them. So if you're not stable in your mind, into your mana, maya, kosha, you're not stable in your energy, you can go a little crazy, because the Anahata, when it opened up, it's a brand new dimension of experiencing this reality. It's very different. You see the world, experience the world very differently. You perceive things differently. And this is the bridge between earth and infinity, because you start tapping into other dimension. And that's when the dimension I'm talking about, that you can start inviting those deity, because goddesses are deity. And so And then, of course, I talk about in my upcoming video satsang on being in the temple, the consecration with Sadhguru at the Bhairavi Devi. I shared this very sacred experience when I saw the form of Bhairavi Devi. And so I'm not going to share it now, but in that satsang will come. And I can tell you from my own experience, I'm talking seeing them with your physical eyes, not with your third eye. You could have both, see them with open eyes or with your third eye. And it's very, I like to say, it's very, very humbling. Now you see that we human beings are so limited in what we can do on our planet. It's time to expand our consciousness on our planet. So join Devi Mayi into reviving and celebrating the divine feminine energy in a big way. And it starts from within. So I think maybe we will take some question, because I cannot cover everything. I'm sure I forgot several things, but often through the question, it brings up certain thing I've been wanting to talk about. Any question here in the sanctum? And for you, beloved, if you have any question, write your question in the description section, not in the chat, because often the chat, we miss them.
Okay. There's a question in the chat.
Yeah.
Question about Tantra. I have heard that doing energetic action can incur a tremendous amount of karma. How do tantrikas do their energetic work without acquiring so much karma?
That's a great question. I think I know who is coming from. I love your question. Well, it's so true. You can accrue a lot of karma. But when you're at the stage that you self-realize, you don't accrue any karma because you're not doing anything. You're just an instrument of grace. I don't do anything. I have no fear whatsoever to accrue any karma because I'm just an instrument of grace. Things happen. The Mahashakti does everything. You got to empty yourself first, because that question comes from the mind, of course, which is completely all right. That's why we have a mind. It's necessary also. But when you're an instrument of grace and you have attained a certain level of conscious evolution, and you really truly have offered yourself, and then there is no ego identification involved, if you come and you say, I am going to transmit right now Shaktipat. Let's do it. Okay? That comes from ego. You see, that is guaranteed to accrue karma. Because it comes from personality. It comes from doership. It comes from wanting to give an experience. But when you have attained a level of sadhana, a level of stillness within yourself, a self-realized being, there is no doership anymore. Even though you might be doing a gesture, but there is no ego in it. It doesn't come from anywhere. not doing anything. If something happened, and it has happened many times, I have nothing to do with it. It's the Divine Mother who comes. She's my partner. And so you become one with it. There is no you anymore. So you're not doing energetic work. When you do energetic work, you're trying, you're forcing, but when you allowed and you're in a state of surrender, which I didn't talk, that was the big thing I didn't talk about earlier, because let's talk about that now. Let's talk about how do you, well, we did a little bit talk about, but let's elaborate in depth. How do you really connect with this energy? How do you become an instrument of the Divine Mother? Well, the Divine Mother will never work through you if you want, if you're full of yourself. You have to empty yourself. And the question is, how do you empty yourself? It's through a state of abandonment. You got to drop the idea of, I'm talking generally speaking now to all of you. I think we lost, did we? Okay. Not just for you, beloved, who asked the question, is that you have to drop everything of wanting to do. You see what I'm saying? There is no you anymore. So no karma can be accrued there. And then you got to be in the state of abandonment. What does it mean to be in a state of abandonment? Thy will be done. I not in doership. I'm just in being. If it's for your karma to be an instrument of grace, don't worry about it. Let it go. Bow down. Do your sadhana. Do what you need to do. If it's going to be manifesting, it will manifest. And no karma will be accrued. When I come and I sit, I have said that earlier, I offer myself. So there's no Devi Mayi anymore. She's not there. So there's energy will come just as a vehicle, because there's such a state of abandonment, of surrender. So a state of abandonment is again going back to be a little child. And the little child trusts the mother, right? What does it mean to trust? To trust means the mind is not there. Because if you trust, you're not questioning. You don't question the mother. You don't question the Divine Mother. You don't question God. It's a natural state of being. You trust your mother with open heart, and you allowed what needs to be coming in your life in complete surrender, in complete faith, in complete trust. That means that will be done, that you're not going to impose your will, and you're not going to impose wanting to try to do something. And through your own sadhana, through on your cosmic evolution, if it's in your karma, it will manifest where, as a tantrika, you have those spiritual power, and then you just sit and things happen. It's as simple as that. Did I answer your question? I hope so. And so surrender to the spiritual path is extremely important. That doesn't mean to be passive. You can be proactive, but you have to choose with discernment, with viveka, what is the right action for you. So if you want to bring more tantra into your path, then the right code, the right key is necessary for you, beloved. That means you need the right sadhana to open up and rise that Kundalini. And I will say to you, to all of you, whatever you aspire for, you let it go. You send the intention, you offer yourself, and then you let it go. And then you find the right, you continue on your path, and you do what's necessary. And with time, it will be revealed to you. You don't even have to question it. You go with faith and trust and complete sense of abandonment. Because in a sense of abandonment, it beget expansion of consciousness. It's the blossoming of the lotus. You see, let me show you a beautiful metaphor. When in a state of abandonment is you allow the lotus to blossom naturally. You're not going to pull, come on, open up. You got to open up, you blossom. You know, that's not a state of unfoldment. It's not natural. It has to unfold naturally. And if a fragrance is to exude from the flower, it needs to happen in the most beautiful way. The flower is in a state of surrender all the time, always in a state of abandonment. She offers herself, she offers her beauty. She does not discriminate. She does not think about anything except to exude beauty and divine love. And then if a fragrance come out of you, then it will start attracting bees. The bee will come to you. And that's the state of abandonment. And if it's in the karma of a specific person, like in my case in particular, I put a lot of resistance to that when I was younger. I didn't want to. It's not something you choose, it chooses you. And so also is you offer it to the Ascended Master. They take on the karma. And so empty yourself from yourself. As a tantrika, there is no you anymore. That little you doesn't serve your higher purpose. It's that you open as the blue sky. And this is as powerful as the Divine Mother will come. I can tell you from my own experience, the more there is no you, the more she will function through you, the Divine Mother. And that's how it is. And that requires a lot of mindfulness and awareness and viveka, discernment to see, because it's easy to get caught up with illusion, you know, and it requires a lot of lifetime of sadhana to be an instrument of grace without taking on karma. You adore to the Ascended Master, you adore to the Divine Mother, to the powerful, great empowerment of Mahashakti. And what I mean by that also is physically, you have to have gone through the whole Kundalini ascension and have experienced the full marriage of Shiva Shakti, because you cannot be an instrument of grace and not take on karma if your body temple is not ready for that, because it requires, you have to have the physicality for it, for that to come through you. You see what I'm saying? Physically, emotionally, mentally, at all level, Manamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha. And to be, in other words, you have to be already self-realized to a point where there is no danger for you to fall back. Only a devotee who is madly in love with the Divine Mother can be truly an instrument of grace and not incur karma through energetic transmission. And so, is there any more question? I hope this really ring a bell inside of you. And I will say to you one more thing about Siddhi. When you are in Tantra, you work with goddesses, is like you could develop a lot of Siddhi, but it's not something to talk about. It's something that you keep quiet and private and humble, and because it can become a big obstacle on the spiritual path. I never cease to be in a state of wonderment all the time, because even though how incredibly great is the grace of the Divine Mother, how powerful she is, I have seen miracle and miracle in my life, unbelievable things, which I'm going to share in my second book, more things that you don't know, that mystical things, but I never cease to be in a state of wonderment. And so when you have that reverence, then ego can never come in the way, because it has been demolished anyway.
The next question is how to reconcile surrender and abandon with our own personal will.
I'm not following this question. But abandonment, what do you mean by that?
How to reconcile surrender and abandon with our own personal will. Maybe surrendering our
Well, you mean surrender is the same as abandonment. If you talk abandonment like feeling abandoned like you're a child, I don't think that's what you talk about. Knowing, I believe what you mean is maybe you're confusing that sense of abandonment is the same as surrender. Is that what you mean?
Or surrendering our self-will, it sounded like.
Let's see. Well, your personal will, well, I will assume for a second, and please, while you type there, let's see, do we have something more?
I mean, abandoning yourself, which is
what you talked about. You talked all about abandonment.
I mean, abandoning yourself, which, yeah, no, this is exactly.
Because surrender is the same as a sense of abandonment. They're interchangeable. Surrender, let me explain to you, because a lot of people in the Western Hemisphere, the word surrender has become really corrupted. A lot of people think surrender is a sense of submission. It's like you submit yourself. That's power over. In power over, in the patriarchal society, they were subjugated to submission like that. I'm not talking about that. That's why I don't like necessary, well, it's not I don't like, I prefer the word a sense of abandonment, because abandonment, it means you make a distance from your mind and your ego identification. You don't put your will there. So how you do it is that you just don't put your will there. You just let it go. You just surrender it. I use the word again. You just allow the Divine Mother to manifest and work through you what needs to happen now. Because one thing I didn't mention, when you worship the Divine Mother, when you worship a goddess, it's a form, it's an energy. Let's make this clear. Again, I know I'm repeating, but it's necessary. Sometimes people need to hear it many times, is that there won't be personal will. If you really move yourself out of the way, there is no personal will. I have done that many times. One point in my life, I didn't want to do this work, and I stopped. And I say, if it's meant to be, it will happen. It will manifest. She will empower. She will make things happen. This is surrender. This is abandoning your will. Is that you don't go forcefully and trying to push. I am going to make this happen. It's like you got to make room to allow for the Divine Mother, for this energy to work for you. Because if you ask, beloved, listen to this very carefully. If you ask for something and you're not ready for it from the Divine Mother, it could be catastrophe. You could go crazy. And you have to be ready. Whatever is that you want in your life at that point, you have to be ready physically, emotionally, mentally, energetically, spiritually, your subtle body, your etheric body, your causal body. You have to be ready, and that's where the magic happens. So the best example I can give you is in this case here, is that if it's meant to be, it's in the karma of Devi Mahima. Thy will be done. I'm not going to force anything. This is how you let go of your personal will. Even though you don't know, it might be something greater for you the Divine Mother has in store. And so that's why it's good to sit down and to be open and to listen, because she will reveal to you the next step. She will reveal to you maybe something you never imagined that will manifest for you. It might not be what you want. So personal will, to enforce it, it's never the right way. It was exactly what I was showing you what you do with a flower, is putting your forceful will to try to make a flower blossom. That's how you put away. You make a distance from the mind, you make a distance from your personality. And then you allowed Shakti to come. If you really truly bow down to the Divine Mother and you truly empty yourself, personal will not be there again at all. You will be open to everything and anything and nothing. I can tell you that, because I have been at that stage. I didn't want to do this work at one point. I put a lot of resistance, but the timing was in fruition. It had to come. The timing is now. But it was not 3, 4, 5 years ago. But the personal will got purified. You got to allow, beloved, that personal will to be burned with agony to the ashes. And see what the Divine Mother has in store for you. It might blow your mind away. That is much greater than you little personal will had. So it's easy actually to let go of your personal will. It's actually very easy. You just trash it and put it in the garbage, because your personal will is nothing compared to her grand shakti, divine love she has for you, beloved. What she has in store in your karma. And you got to trust that. Only to trust and faith you can get rid of your personal will. And so as you go through the Kundalini ascension, your personal will get purified. I can tell you that. I was at a point in my life, it was frightening in a way for other people. I had no personal will. I had zero desire. Can you imagine? All I wanted to, well, you could call that a desire, was to close my eyes. Because when I close my eyes, I'm in ecstasy. I am in dripping in bliss right now, in case if you don't know. But when I close my eyes, and the more I keep them closed, the deeper I go. And it's bathing in Siddha Satchit Ananda. Let's talk about that. Because those goddesses, we talk about the 10 Mahavidya, they all can bring you in a state of Brahma. What they call in the yogic tradition in Sanatan Dharma. Sanatan Dharma is very associated with the yogic tradition. Sanatan Dharma just means eternal truth, the eternal path. It's the yogic path in a way. It's ingrained with Hinduism. It's not a religion. Again, it's not a philosophy. It's not a culture. It's a way of life. It's embracing a way of life that's as a code of ethic, living, embodying the divine feminine energy's value at its highest, to in pursuit of spiritual liberation and what we call mukti, in pursuit of satya, in pursuit of absolute truth, in pursuit of social harmony on our planet, a way of life that is in fruition into nourishing all living beings. That is Sanatan Dharma. That is also very ingrained in the yogic tradition. So that's why it's called eternal path, the eternal, and it's ingrained about the path of self-realization. It's beyond religion, it's beyond doctrine, it's beyond man-made, because religion are all man-made. This has come from the Akash. It comes from the greatest power of Shiva Shakti. And so Satchitananda was saying all those Mahadevi, the 10 avatar of the Mahavidya, the cosmic wisdom energy, all have the power to bring about what I call the divine presence, but in the yogic tradition we call it Satchit Ananda. And some yogis and Maharishi call it a state of Brahma. Let's define first what is Satchit Ananda. Some of you know. From Sanskrit, it means Sat, absolute truth, omnipotent, omnipresence, pure consciousness, never changing. It's permanent, omnipotent, and Ananda is bliss from our own nature. When we drip in bliss, it comes from the Amrita, from the pineal gland, and it's the most intoxicating nectar. So in Vedanta, they call it the state of Brahma. It's the same, even though there's debate right now for thousands of years, but it's pretty much the same. Satchitananda, or state of Brahma. Brahma just means, from Sanskrit, the all-pervading truth, the all-pervading, you could call it God, the ultimate, supreme, absolute intelligence that is unchanging, permanent reality, all-pervading God, we could say. God, again, another word that has become very corrupted. So, because Brahma is non-dualistic, there's no separation with the illusion of the physicality. To experience life in the physical world, we need duality. Otherwise, the cosmos would not exist. Those bipolar of Shiva Shakti animate that. It cannot, the cosmos, please realize that, beloved. Without duality, We cannot exist. But it's just an illusion that is separating us from our true divine nature. Because when you transcend the anankara ego and you get rid all that purification that takes place, get rid of that personal will, because personal will is very much attached with ego identification, and all of that is burned to ashes, then you can transcend. Because there isn't, when you experience Satchitananda, that state of Brahma, it's non-dualistic. There is no you and there is no me. It's not an intellectual exercise. It's you, I can tell you, it's a state of complete oneness that you are everywhere and nowhere. There is no you anymore. So if there is no you, there is no you to take on any karma when you're working energetically, because there is not even any working at that point. There is a transcendence. It's hard to talk about that because it's so ethereal. It's so, it's hard to comprehend that with the mind. That's why we have yogic tool. That's why sadhana is so important, especially Kriya Yoga. Like here, we have at Radiating the Light Spiritual Retreat, which we're going to have a mini one coming up in July, but eventually we will have them at different area around the world, in India, in the Himalaya, in Mexico, in Egypt, potentially, and I don't know, maybe other places we'll see, but is to impart exactly like the Siddha Satchit Kriya Ananda, so that you can work with the life force energy. Kriya means an action, is working with the life force energy to bring about a purification, to get rid of all that personal will, because that's the best. One of the best ways is to allow Mahashakti to burn that in state of abandonment. And so Satchitananda, when you experience Satchitananda, your divine presence, there is no two creating that illusion of Maya. Because it's only an illusion. And it's very easy to be caught up in that. Because the world seems, and is real, and the duality is there. And yet, the absolute truth is only what caused that separation, that caused the chaos that we see on the planet. So what about if we bring about in a big way the divine feminine energy and help whatever we can in the smallest way to bring about a more balancing of those energy on our planet. I would really love to see that before I go and leave my body temple, that I see we have more temple for the Divine Mother, more celebration of the Divine Feminine energy. I'm asking you, beloved, all of you who wants to participate, help, volunteer, join us and help support us in that endeavor in many different ways, because as you know, it's incredibly needed. Any question in the sanctum and online? Maybe we should, we're almost there, we should do the meditation. Look in the description also, just in case we had a question also in the description.
How do you develop the physicality? I have had psychotic breaks because I had an experience of timeless bliss that I wasn't ready for. How do you develop the physicality to hold it?
That's a great question. I'm so glad you asked.
And there's another one.
Oh, let's answer this one. Well, unless they're related. What is the second question?
How does one deal with a sense of control? I think what usually happens with me is I abandon myself, then a certain feeling of distrust happens. So I go back in a more manual and controlling the experience.
Okay, let's answer the first question because the second one is a little ambiguous. So, ask the first one again.
How do you develop the physicality?
Okay.
I have had psychotic breaks because I had an experience of timeless bliss that I wasn't ready for.
Yeah, that's such a great question. Sadhana, sadhana, sadhana. The only way you can come about to a Kundalini ascension that is safe, because Kundalini, if it happens, it can happen by itself, right? It's rare. Let me tell you, spiritual awakening is the same as Kundalini awakening. If it happened by itself, it can be very dangerous because the person does not know what's happening to them and they go psychotic. I don't know if this is what happened to you, but I've had follower around the world who send email, a few just approaching that subject, and even if it happened through the guidance of a spiritual teacher, normally you want it with a spiritual teacher, an adept spiritual teacher, master, who can guide you the right way for Kundalini ascension to rise safely. But without sadhana, sadhana means spiritual practices. In case, I don't know who you are, in case if you knew at our channel, there's nothing like spiritual practices that will help you make the body temple strong physically. So you can sustain more high voltage of shakti, of primordial cosmic energy, because it's just energy. And so hatha yoga, kriya yoga, meditation, mindful practices, deity meditation. And so, and I mean intense sadhana. It depends how fast you want to go. How deep is your longing? If your longing is very deep and you really want to accelerate, then I would recommend more sadhana. But you need the guidance of to be in relationship in Guru Shishya. Guru Shishya is relationship with a spiritual master and a student where you have guidance. And to have a safe Kundalini ascension, you cannot do it by yourself. And it can be dangerous. But through proper guidance with the right sadhana, things will go smooth. Even if you have spontaneous kriya, it goes a little crazy, it's okay. But because you are in the hands of the Ascended Master, you've been guided, you have a proper sadhana. Kundalini will never rise it will be hard to rise safely and in this lifetime if you don't do spiritual practices, especially kriya, different kind of kriya. Because you're talking about working with prana, to working with Mahashakti. Yeah. When I went through this, oh my God. I went through this, it went on for 8 years, 10 years, it was incredibly intense. I would get black and blue, I would speak in tongue, I would go in trance, and I would be in convulsion on the ground. I mean, some of you know, and so I could see that if you had a moment of bliss, and suddenly if something awakened in you when you don't do sadhana, I could see why you would drip down and you could go into depression because you're not guided properly. And you need to do, I'm sorry, I'm insisting on that. You have no idea how important it is to do the proper spiritual sadhana. Yeah. What was the second question?
How does one deal with a sense of control? I think what usually happens with me is I abandon myself, then a certain feeling of distrust happens. So I go back into my more manual and controlling experience.
Well, it depends here what you mean by abandoning myself. Well, you know very well if you're in control, it's manipulative, that if you are practicing mindfulness and you becoming more aware, you will reach a point very quickly. You will have a lot of discernment and you will know that the control you use is dysfunctional and is unhealthy and is manipulative. And you drop your nonsense. If you're aware of it, just drop your nonsense. But you got to become aware of it. I know you're aware of it now because you're asking the question, but the question is that, are you mindful on a moment where you're exercising self-control? Self-control, you could say, is a personal will. If you impose your personal will, it's like using imposing a sense of control. I'm not sure what you mean, a sense of abandonment here. Do you mean if you identified abandonment like not caring and not taking care of yourself and not look out for you in the most healthy, loving way, like a divine mother to yourself, that's not healthy. The sense of abandonment that I would love to see in you is that you trust you spiritual master to guide you properly, and that you trust your own divinity within, that you learn to listen deep and start practicing mindfulness if you don't. On our channel, there is a playlist on mindfulness. There is an entire series on that. I highly suggest you do it and start practicing mindfulness to anchor you in this present moment. So when you become controlling, you stop your behavior, because that behavior is a negative energy habit that you need to transform with a positive energy habit. And the sense of abandonment in you needs to be more like, I bow down to the Divine Mother. Thy will be done. And yet, you take care of yourself. You nourish your own divinity. You nurture your own divinity. You love your own divinity. And you know how you do that? Not only how you eat, but you take care of your energy by eating healthy food, pranic food, sattvic food. What come out of your mouth, you use your magical wand. Remember, Devi Mayi talks a lot about the magical wand. Your magical wand, anyone remember? What is the magical wand? Let's see here. You have been with me for quite some time. Nobody remember? Anyone remember the magical wand?
It's Viveka.
Huh?
Magical wand is Viveka, wisdom, seeing, knowing.
Speak louder.
I see it as Viveka, wisdom, true wisdom, knowing.
Yes, but that's too vague. It's much more precise than that. Okay, I will share. Very important. If you have to write it down, write it down. But I talk about that on many different satsang, on the YouTube channel. So on how to rise your vibrancy, how to rise your frequency. Because beloved, that's what you're not doing. Whoever asked that question, you're not raising your frequency. How you raise your frequency is, okay, you get out of the way by using your magical wand. The magical wand is how you think, to become very mindful of your thoughts, your self-talk, to become aware and mindful of what is the jabbering going on in your mind. That requires practice. What's coming out of your mouth? What are the words that you're speaking? Are they words that nourish, that empower, that are nurturing and loving? Are they negative words? What are the decree coming out? If it's negating something, it will never work. It has to be in a positive way. Remember the gathas, you stop, and when you cut yourself, you go back to your mindful breathing, and then you bring Ma Shakti. You invite her into your access, into the Muladhara. Allow her to come through your mindful breathing, and then bring back yourself in this present moment. And you can say, I am the Buddha. I am home now. Or I am the Divine Mother. I am a divine being of light. I radiate divine love and grace and beauty and ecstasy right now in this moment. You could say it verbally or mentally, and then with that volition. So you have to be very mindful of what are your volition. That your volition are pure and sincere, and they're coming from your divine presence. It doesn't come from your ego. And your words on a daily basis, when you talk about politics, when you talk about anything you talk about in the world, are your thoughts, your words, and your action and your volition aligned with your pranic energy body? That is the magical one. That wisdom comes only if you apply it. You can talk about viveka, discernment, all of this, but that's just bullshit. If you don't practice it in the moment, right now, every moment of your life, and you bring about your magical wand, you're a divine alchemist. You use your power. This is how you start developing your own inner power. Because it's there inside of you, but it's dormant. If you have to exercise it, but it requires self-effort in the beginning. But the more and more you are exercising this divine power, the easier it's become. So abandoning yourself to the Divine Mother, it's going with trust and faith and with action. It's not passive. Because you may be confusing passivity with a sense of abandonment. No, sense of abandonment is very proactive, because this is where you exercise your right, your divinity, how you move, how you align everything we talk about, your thoughts, your words, your volition, and your action, and your energy. You got to anchor yourself moment to moment. Am I aligned? My energy, is it going aligned with what I'm saying, what I'm thinking, and what I'm doing? That's the magical one. And the magical one will grow stronger and stronger and more powerful as you exercise that. But it requires a lot of awareness. And sadhana, spiritual practices, it all is tied in. What I love in my, how can I say that, in my own realization, is because I've been with so many great masters. I've been so blessed in so many lifetimes. I bring a lot of things that burn the candle by both sides, so to speak. I know it's not a good thing for other things, but when it comes to the spiritual path, it's a wonderful thing, because when you bring awareness, the path of awareness, and the path of Raj Yoga, and you blend them together. It's a very powerful teaching. You know, Raj Yoga consists of all of this. Bhakti, because Tantra, we didn't talk about that. Tantra has a huge element of bhakti. Bhakti, devotion, we didn't talk about, goes with the state of surrender. It's excessively important when you bow down, when there is so much devotion, there is no you anymore. How can there be personal will? I'm asking you, beloved. Devotion, sense of abandonment, and trust all go together. This is your power. This is your inner power. And I forgot to mention, because this is so natural for this one. When in a state of surrender, you're empty of yourself. You're not there anymore. There is no you. And so, but sense of abandonment, again, doesn't mean you don't use your magical wand. Any more questions? And we should go to the meditation. So how do you connect? I am going to conclude on this just to make a clarification. How you connect, how you attune. You got to be in sadhana. You got to be in relationship. In go shisheshya. If you want to succeed, of course, because the master is one who dispels darkness. That's all, nothing else. You go to the dentist, right? You go to the doctor, the same thing. If you go to a spiritual teacher, it's the same thing. So you come, you have devotion to the Divine Mother, you are in a state of surrender, of abandonment, you use your magical wand, you are in sadhana. I'm asking you, where is the personal will? You can still go about manifesting, but you make sure you sit and you really listen deeply the inner voice inside and the guidance. And you check in. Make sure you really are on the spiritual path, that you're not fooling yourself. There are a lot of obstacles on the spiritual path, and often you don't recognize them. Any more questions? I hope that answers your question.
We only have 20 minutes left, just so you know.
We will do a meditation. But one more question, just in case, and there'll be a quick answer. I think we're ready. No? Well, we have more than 20 minutes. It's okay if we go over. Okay, let's do the meditation. Let's close your eyes. Sit. You need to sit for this one for the first 5 minutes. And then you can lay down. 20 minutes. Okay. No, not yet. We're going to chant Om. Let's sit with your spine. It's very important we do that. Please, beloved, by the way, if you're new to our channel, subscribe, join our loving community, and like and share this video with your family and your friends. And every second Monday of the month, we have Drinking Bliss Divine satsang every Monday at 7 p.m. And welcome, we're happy you're here. And we're excited. Stay tuned, because for some of you who could not attend, you will have, at the end of this video, you will have several videos, satsang, that will address the different topic we talk about. And one I didn't mention, we recorded yesterday teaching, is on the power of deity, all about deity and how they can bring grace into your life. So we're going to start first with chanting Om. For some of you, Om Kara, make sure your spine is seated straight, slightly looking upward towards your third eye, and turn your hands upward in the mudra of yoga, of receptivity. And as you chant A, U, the primordial sound of the universe, feel it vibrated. A will vibrate in your lower abdomen, in the Muladhara area. U into the Anahata, in the heart chakra. Into your third eye, into the ajna. And each sound is equal length of time. And we will chant it together for at least 5-10 minutes. And it's a meditation, and you attune yourself with the divine primordial cosmic sound, because every sound has a vibration, every vibration has a form, and so are goddesses. Every goddess has a form. And so it's attuning with this form. So here in this meditation, and then we'll follow it with a Nidra Yoga meditation, and stay tuned because it's going to be really beautiful and powerful to connect with your own divinity, your own deity, your own goddess within your own self. So let's chant together and turn your hands upwards in Mudra of receptivity. Okay, you may lay down. Lay down in Shavasana. You have plenty of space. Put a pillow beneath your knee and turn upwards and close your eyes. And I hope you have your plug so you can hear this beautiful, powerful meditation and completely let go. I suggest, Genoa, you lay down also. There's plenty of space there. It will make a world of a difference. Look, there's plenty of space there. And you can take as many pillows as you want. Make sure you're comfortable. And give your lower back some support. And just play that corpus pose in Shavasana with your hands turned upward, and take a deep breath. A deep, deep breath. And tighten everything about you. I suggest you put it right underneath your knee. Yeah, to support your back. Beautiful. Tighten, take a deep breath and make a fist. And tight everything, everything, your legs, your torso, your neck, you add, and tense, 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 every little muscle. Use mindfulness awareness and then let go. Let go completely and take a second breath. Tighten again. Mindfully, tight, 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 everything and let go. And this one, the third one, completely let go into the third one. Make another feast and let completely, completely let go. Shh. The music a little louder, we don't hear it. Beautiful. If it's too loud, let us know. And if you cannot hear my voice, please let me know. That should be fine. You are on a beautiful beach and it's early morning and feel the breeze caressing your hair, the warm breeze. You're walking barefoot right now. Let go. Put your arms on the side and completely let go of everything. Yeah. And use your own inner, you could call it your higher self, your own divinity, your divine presence. Allow it to guide you into this powerful meditation with the power of imagination. So you're walking barefoot. See the ocean. Everything has an ethereal glow about it. Feel the sand underneath, the white, pink sand underneath your feet. You're caressing Mother Earth. You're mindfully walking barefoot, embracing Mother Earth. And you see the palm tree, the breeze is caressing your cheek. And all of a sudden, you feel lighter and lighter. Everything about you is so at ease. You are weightless and you start floating up in the air. And you're starting realizing you can fly. And you are flying into the sky. See yourself flying. And now you're crossing, you're going higher and higher, you're going faster and faster. And you're coming out of the atmosphere. You have crossed all the clouds. And then you were going up vertically. Now you're going vertically, horizontally. You're starting to traverse, going into space, start seeing the moon and seeing the stars. And you're flying. As you're flying, you feel again that divine ocean of love, of divine Mother caressing you. And as you're flying and flying, every particle of you body temple is dissolving. See your feet dissolving in the cosmos. As you're traveling through the spheres, going into other dimension of reality. See your ankle. Every little particle are dismantling. And your knee, your calf, your thigh. See them, they're like little particle, like you leaving a trail of spiraling, colorful particle Ooh, dissolving, and your abdomen, your productive organ, your intestine, your kidney, your spleen, your grand intestine, your small intestine, your skin, and you're going up and up. Now the lungs, your torso, your skeleton, and fly faster and faster at the speed of light. Everything is dissolving. Your breast, your arm, your fingers, your shoulder, your heart. See every particle dissolving. Your neck, your shoulder, your jaw. Not much of you is left. Everything has been melting into the vast ocean cosmic of divine love, of the cosmic mother. And now your nose, your cheek, your teeth, your jaw, your tongue, your brain, your ears, your hair, your eyes. Everything has been dissolved. And only your etheric body is floating in the cosmos. See it floating. Bathe in that divine grace of you, divine presence, one with the cosmic mother who nurture you, who love you unconditionally. And see all the stars, the nebula, all the color. See all the ascended master floating and the deity floating. And there's one in particular is calling your soul and your spirit. See, she is your own inner goddess. See her. She is shining with this radiant light, effulgent light of 10,000 sun, blazing sun. Go towards her. See her form. She's calling you, beloved. And she's calling right, going straight into her shrine. Now, with your etheric body, penetrate into her shrine. Go deep into her sanctum. See yourself, your etheric body penetrate your own goddesses. And sit there on that 1,000 lotus petal. A 1,000 petal lotus that is blazing with 10,000 sun. And you sit there as the goddess. And you are melting everything into her. See your etheric body melting into this deity. And then you realize he is the Divine Mother. The grand empowerment of the Cosmic Mother. Feel her grace, feel her love. and her compassion. And she is caressing you tenderly, holding you in her yoni, in her womb, as you're floating in her womb. Everything has melted, beloved. Only consciousness and bliss is here right now in this moment, in this deep inner peace that you are. Floating in that vast, infinite ocean of the Divine Mother. See how you're floating and floating, and the more you're floating, the more you're becoming her. And you have become one with that vast ocean of divine love. And gently you're floating. And gently you're floating back to the shore of where your journey have begun. And you rematerialize in your body temple with her light. There is no personal will anymore. See a flash of divine light coming from your Anahata right now. Put your awareness into your heart. Keep your awareness on your Anahata. See the blue light, the blue flame of awareness, the blue pearl. See the blue flame into your Anahata. Hold it and see it exploding into your Anahata. That blue flame of awareness. See a blue flame, and now see a violet flame exploding into your Anahata, percolating in every particle of your body temple. See it penetrating every particle, the blue, the white, the violet. Now see the green blue. Now it's a green flame. See it with your third eye into your Anahata. Allow it to inflame every particle of your body temple. And then do the same with the yellow flame. Hold it into your Anahata. Let it explode. And then see a whole rainbow, white, red. Bring the red flame of awareness. Let it explode. All the color of the Divine Mother, of God, one by one, exploding as particle all over in your body temple. As you're floating and you coming shorter and shorter to the shore. Swinging in the arm of divine love. So you have a new body made out of all the color of the Divine Mother. Hold it again. See it in every cell of your body temple. There's a rainbow of color. White, yellow, orange. If you haven't brought the orange flame, bring the orange flame. Green, blue flame. And the violet flame. And your whole new body is made out of this pure white light. And slowly you're drifting to the shore with a new perception, a new body temple of light. And you drifting to the shore where you had begun your journey. Take your own time. Take your own time. When you feel ready, you can slowly turn to your right side, very gently. Always turn from your right side. Yeah, you turn, you bring your legs up together, fold them, and you turn very slowly. And you may sit down. Slowly sit down. If for some reason there's more question and we didn't answer, don't worry, you'll have more opportunity. You may write them down into the comment section, and we're happy you join us tonight, and I bow down to you, and I send you a wave of divine love and grace and light and blessing. And I look forward to the next satsang, and reach out if you have any more personal question. And like I say, if you're new to our channel, subscribe, and we welcome you to our loving community. And make sure to click on the upcoming satsang and share this, and let's together celebrate the Divine Mother on earth. And let's make a contribution. And for some of you, for you beloved, if you want to join Devi Mayi in any capacity, I'm here for you, and we need you to spread this beautiful divine love on our planet. What do you think? Are you for it? Are you willing? So if you're willing, write it down and put a yes in the comment section. So namaste. And I'm sorry we went a little over, but I could have gone on the whole night with you. No, I'm always with you in spirit, always, in many ways, more than you might imagine. Namaste.